All right. On today's 30-minute mechanic, we're going to drag the transmission up here and get this engine off the engine stand and see if we can get the two put together, put the starter in, put the headers, maybe put the headers on. I don't know. All in preparation for stabbing that dude into that dude. So buckle up. Let's go. All right. Well, first thing we got to do, we got to get these headers off. And I didn't really bolt them on. I just kind of put some nuts on to hold them in place. So we'll pop these dudes off. Well, there you go. Slides off. As long as you don't get them in a bind. Now, I was going to paint the headers. Well, been thinking about it. Mainly because it's freezing cold. And the other reason I may not is because the paint doesn't last. You paint them, they look good. And then 20 minutes after it's been running, they look like this again. So I'm not inclined to really want to paint them again. They've been painted a bunch of times. This one stud is not playing nice. Otherwise, the header would just fall right off. But the stud, I think, has a booger on it. There we go. And the header's off. Both headers off, and I have no idea where that nut went. Are you kidding me? I mean, you know my rule, my law, the law of under. If you drop something like a bolt in your shop or nut, it's always going to go under something. And that was a great depiction of it right there because it went, I dropped it over here and it went under the car. So, I'm going to go ahead and get the air filter off. Boop. Just set it on top of the car too. All right. Off camera. Well, I'll just kind of show you. All right. We'll come around here to the back. Kind of finished everything up back here with the wiring for the fuel pump and everything, putting the relay. So basically just stuck the relay in here and around. You can see the other way. Well, there's a little fuse panel, fuse block thingy there, and a single relay for the fuel pump. And I have one wire that goes all the way to the front from back here to trigger that relay. We'll be getting to that soon. So we're pretty much done back here in the back. Everything's plumbed up under the car. Can't really see nothing from here. But got our fuel filter and our 90 bolted on there. Everything is, it's not leaking. Everything's cool back here. So we are good. So we're pretty much done back here. All right. Well, we drug our old reliable there, the old C6. drug it up to the front, which was harder than it had to be because that piano dolly didn't want to roll straight for nothing. So anyways, here we are. Next move is we got to take the carburetor off so we can put our engine lift plate on there. And yes, I use a engine lift plate. So let's get a little closer. Let me grab a 1/2 inch and we'll pop that dude off of there. Dude. Heifer. 1 heifer. This is a Brawler carburetor. It's an 850. Bought it last year, before race week last year, because the EFI was not working right. Likely because the wiring in the car was not great. So I decided to just make the jump back to a carburetor, and I bought this Brawler. And I got an 850. It's the smallest carburetor I've run on this car. Used to have a 950, and then I went to come back here. Went to a Dominator, and I mean it's worked fine. I think an 850 will be fine. Probably could be bigger, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you actually, the reason I went 100%, the reason why I went with an 850 is because they were on clearance, and they didn't have anything bigger. It was as big as they had, and I didn't want to spend a gazillion dollars on a 950 or a Dominator at that point. I cannot get this washer. There it goes. Washer to move. Come on. There we go. And then that one comes off. These, I don't remember how I did this, so I'm going to put those guys right there. Carburetor. I might just take that off. Double springs. Got to have the double springs for a carburetor. Double return springs. Now you may be looking at this. I just flung that across. There it is. Went under the chair. Okay. Let me show you something here. Maybe you can see them. I'll get you in a little closer. This car, okay, it was fuel injection. We ran Mega Squirt EFI on it for, we ran on race week in 2023 that way, and it worked good, you know, it's fine. But right at the end of the week, we started having trouble with the EFI. And then did this motor combination, started off with the EFI, and it started off kind of okay, and then I started having all kinds of wacky issues. So the decision was made to go to a carburetor. Well, I still had bungs in the intake for injectors, and last year on race week, these are just dummy blanks. Can't remember where I got those. Yeah, I'll think of it. I'll think of it later, or probably in the middle of the night. These are just dummy blanks, and they have an O-ring down in here. And last year, I just put the dummy blanks in there and put a fuel rail in here to hold them in place. And then after that, when I was rebuilding this motor, or re-ringing it and re-bearinging it, I thought, gosh, there's got to be a better way to just poke these in there and retain them. So I very carefully drilled each one, drilled a hole through, and put a cotter pin in each one. So the little block off deals are super tight, super snug, They won't leak. I mean, they're just subject to engine vacuum right there, so it's not a big deal. But they're in there really good. And if I ever want to go back to EFI, I mean, I just pull the collar pins up, and jam an injector in there, jam, and it's perfectly fine. Because the O-ring is well below. The O-ring is well below where this is, so not a big deal. So that's what those little weirdo looking things are. So just so I don't have to have a dummy fuel rail there taking up space and making everything kind of clotted up. Okay, moving on. Okay, brawler coming off. Let me pop that gasket off too while I'm at it. Maybe not wanting to move. There we go. Gasket off. And we'll just kind of set it over here somewhere. Maybe on the chair. Now yesterday, I was going to make a video yesterday, but I looked everywhere for my flex plate and my starter for this car. I could not remember where I put them. And I messed around. And then I finally remembered, hey, dummy, you put them in your race week trailer. So went over to race week trailer, popped it open, boink, there they were. So I wasted a lot of time doing that, but it gave me just enough time to finish up the wiring in the back of the car. And right now, I'm trying to figure out where my lift plate is. I guess I'm going to have to stop and search for it. I thought it was like right over there. Ah, brother. Okay, time out. Time in. I found it. Lift plate. Boink. Drops right on. Sweet as whatever. I don't know. Something. Butter. Sweet as butter? Slick as butter? Smooth as butter. Really what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to try not to drop stuff on the floor. That's perfect. And I'll just put these dudes right back on there. One thing I may do once I get all this stuff together, I may hook my crane scale up, and we'll just see how much a Ford C6 with a converter and a 460 all weigh together. Tighten these down just a little bit. Okay, put that guy back in that hole so I don't lose him. Now, don't need that in my pocket. All right. We are doing some good. Oh my gosh. Put this thing down. And I don't remember the 3 holes here. I can't remember which hole works the best to put it in, but I think it's the front one. Because then that picks everything up and then I just stick it in. You can go in that way, I think. These are bigger than that. All right, let's put a little weight on the engine hoist. I've had this engine hoist for a long time. It has lifted a lot of motors in its day. Yep. Those over there. See if these will come out now. Oh my word. Come on. Oh my word. Are you dead? I mean, what in the devil? Not dead. One's out. One more. There we go. Okay, that part is done. Engine stand. Thanks to my buddy Jonathan for letting me borrow his engine stand. Because my engine stand, actually one of his engines is on my engine stand. So, yeah. And then Ford does the plate thingy dingy. Kind of take a peek here, see what we look like. All right, we've got our somewhat well-used flex plate right here. It's been a good one. Oh, dirty. Gotta make sure I actually put it on the motor the right direction. And in the proper orientation. Is that right? I don't know. Of course, this externally balanced stroker in this car, in this motor. Let's make sure these are lined up properly before I get too far here. So, you know, the holes are an oddball pattern, so it only goes on one way. And I think I've got it in the right spot. Okay, yep, I do. So that means now for the Loctite. You're not going to hear it. Oh no, don't use red Loctite. Yep, use red Loctite. I'm using it. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, is it something ever going to come out I can hear? There's some. Come on. Come on. There we go. A little bit of red. I mean, I don't use a whole lot. But, oh gosh. Just as I say that, I turn my thumb into a murder scene with a red Loctite. Oh my gosh. I guess that was all she wrote. Yeah, maybe get that one. Yeah, I don't use a whole lot. I think I've got another tube over here. This may be the gel. Yep. Tie gel. And these are flex plate bolts, so I don't really want them ever coming loose. And really, the only time I would probably ever have to take them off, the engine will be out of the car, so I'll be able to, come on, hit them with an impact or heat. Or this one doesn't want to start. What is going on? There it goes. Oh, I already did that one. Did I do them all already? That one, that. Yeah, I did. Okay. Put this stuff over here because I'm good at knocking stuff over and squishing it and getting it everywhere. Okay. Put that on the go. I think those are 3/4 of an inch. One's on. Two's on. Three's on. Oh, this thing. Can't complain. It's old. Okay. Now what we're going to do is grab a James, you didn't torque it. Torqued. 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 Double check that one. Torqued. Okay. They're torqued and my hand's filthy. All right. Separator plates in, flex plates on. Then we kind of ease this thing down and see if we can wiggle that big old C6 over here. Something's not 100% right. We are not at top dead center any longer. And I can't see nothing over here because it's dark. Okay, let's look right here. Oh yeah, there's our TDC mark. Dang it, that's irritating. I really thought this thing was parked at top dead center firing on one, but evidently it is not. Great. That means I'm going to take my valve cover back off and all that good stuff. All right. Let's grab a big wrench. Okay, what I'm doing is I want my flex plate bolt to be pointed straight down. You know, north, south, east, west on the flex plate bolts. That way, when I put the transmission on, bloop, it'll slide right in. I don't have to monkey around with that. So let's grab a big socket. Oh, brother. What was that? Microphone went dead there somewhere. I don't know where. So if you missed anything, look, transmission is attached to the big block. And I've got a huge bag of transmission fluid hanging off the end of the tail shaft there, looking for my little pan. It's not even a pan. It's a tub. But it works pretty good. Okay. Put that right there so if that leaks, it didn't make a mess, because I hate transmission fluid. Man, I hate it. Okay, last little thing for today. So I'm going to stick the starter in it, but it's not on this side of the engine. All right, yippee-doo. Here's a starter. I guess I need to find the starter bolts. I should have done that before. Never prepared. Actually, I think those are them right there. Get my knee cushion here. Ouch, that was not very good. Still. And big Ford. For the life of me, I don't understand. I mean, it only has 2 bolts. But for the life of me, I don't understand why one of the bolts comes from the front and the other bolt goes from the back. Do not get it. I think those are 9/16. They are not 9/16. That means they are 1/2. They are half-a. And I need to. I'll get this bolted on, and then I'll decide if I want to paint the headers. I don't really think I'm gonna, because I mean, if you look at them right now, they were painted when they went on the car the last time. Starter, and then they ended up looking like that. So my feeling is, why waste the money and time if they're just going to end up looking like that again? Okay, motor bolted to the transmission, and the starter's in. Took me a little longer than I anticipated, but I had to find stuff too. I wasn't prepared. Imagine that. Never prepared. Okay, looking pretty good. That's going to do it for 30 Minute Mechanic today. Got our engine off the stand, got our transmission bolted to it, and everything lined up, and the starter's in. Next step will be stick the headers on it, bolt them on, and then that dude is going in there. So check the description. Cruise over to my friends' channels, check out what they're up to. But for now, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, and we'll see you next time. Bye.